Hello, good morning, students. So, welcome to the online class. So, today also we are discussing from the same chapter, Introduction to C++. Okay, that is overview of C++. And from there, today we discuss token, keywords, and variables. So, if you have not watched the previous video, in the previous video I've discussed about the object-oriented programming paradigm. There we discuss about the different categories, that is the objects, classes, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstraction. Okay, so all those definitions. So if you have not watched the video, please watch the video. So okay, so first thing we'll discuss about character sets. So in your computer keyboard you find different characters such as like alphabets, numbers, digits, and then special symbols, special characters like semicolon, brackets, right, hashtag. So all of these things are used in C++ programs also, and that is why C++ program is a high level programming language, because programmers find it easy to use C++ to type in C++ program. Why? Because like the programs they write is like in writing down an English sentence, because they use English alphabets, they use numbers, they use uh, these special symbols. Okay, so that's why it is called as a high level programming language. Okay, so these characters are integrated, they are combined together to form identifiers, variables, constants, tokens, expressions. So when you combine those characters, okay, so they form these identifiers or variables, they form constants, and they form tokens and expressions. So collectively, okay, you combine those character sets and it forms all these variables and constants as such. Okay, so C++ characters also uses the ASCII characters as data. So if you have not watched the video where I've discussed about the ASCII key codes, okay, please go and watch those videos. Okay, so the following are the character sets used in C++ program. That is the uppercase letters, that is uppercase alphabets, capital A, okay, the lowercase alphabets, small letter a, okay, and then the digits 0 to 9. So one thing you have to know is that C++ is case sensitive. That is, for a user, for a human, we can differentiate between capital A and small letter a. But for a computer, if no program is written to tell the computer that okay, this is capital A, this is small letter a, so the computer will not treat capital A and small letter a differently. It will be same for the computer, and the binary number for that alphabet A and small letter a will also be same. But in C++ program, uh, it is written in such a way that the, the compiler can differentiate between the uppercase letter and the lowercase letters. Okay, now along with that, special characters or special symbols are used, such as the exclamation, asterisk, hashtag, dollar symbol, the brackets, okay, curly brackets, parentheses. All of these things you will use in C++ programs. And then white space characters such as blank space, new line, carriage returns. Okay, all these things we'll discuss at the later videos. Okay, so the C++ compilers ignores white space characters such like blank spaces. So programmers can write down the programs in like English sentence. So between the words you have blank spaces, right? So in C++ also you can have blank spaces. The compiler ignores that, so no errors are generated. But in some cases, blank spaces uh, creates errors, such like a variable name. A variable name cannot have blank spaces in between. Okay, so token. The token is the smallest individual unit used in C++ program. Okay, so all the characters that you use, the alphabets, numbers, and special symbols, when you combine them, okay, it forms a meaningful word. Uh, and when it forms a meaningful word for the compiler, okay, the compiler understands that. So such characters, when you combine them, they form keywords, variables, literals, operators, punctuators, statements. Okay, so such keywords are called as tokens, variables are called as tokens. Okay, so collectively Token is comprised of keywords, variables, literals, operators as such. Okay, so you can consider the following program statement here. Okay, so here int const pi equals to 3.142 semicolon. So this is a token. So this consists of 6 tokens as I've listed below. Okay, so here int, that stands for integer. Okay, as in mathematical term integer. Okay, so integer values. So here int, you're combining 3 characters, that is I, N and T. Okay, so here the compiler understands that int stands for integer. So int is a keyword, or int is a data type. Okay, so int is a data type and it is also a keyword. So that keyword or int is a token. Okay, similarly const, that stands for constant. So this constant is a keyword and it has to be used as it is. Okay, pi is a variable, equal to is an assignment operator, 3.142 is a floating point literal, okay, or float constant, and semicolon is also a punctuator. So here you can see that uh, collectively all of these things are called as tokens. Okay, and that particular line is called as a single line statement. Okay, so collectively when you combine these keywords, variables, literals, okay, operators, punctuators, they form a statement, and a statement always ends with a semicolon. Okay, next we have is keywords. So keywords are reserved words having predefined meaning to the compiler. So keywords, you have to use them as it is. You cannot change the name of the keywords. So predefined as in like it is already pre-written. The words, the definitions of the words are already understood by the compiler when the compiler comes across those keywords. Such like if you see the table below, I have listed out some keywords such like const, int. So you cannot change int to integer, intgr. That will create a compiler error. Okay, and then you cannot change const to constant. So these keywords cannot be used as variable names. Okay, because variable names are user defined. User defines the variable names, and the keywords are predefined, so it's fixed. You cannot change int to integer as such. Okay, and always they are written in lowercase letters. Okay, so int cannot be written in capital letters. It has to be written in small letter or lowercase. Okay, next you have is variable. So variable is the name given for the memory location where the data is stored. Now we store the data in computer memory, but for us users it is practically impossible to know where the data is stored in which memory location, right? So in order to be able to extract the data or to find the data, a variable name is given, that is the name for the location where that data is stored. Okay, so that way user, they do not need to remember the address of the location where the data is stored. So every location has an address, every memory location has an address, suppose like 1 2 3 4, like that. Okay, so user does not need to remember that address, but they can refer to that address or that memory location by the variable name. Okay, so the variable names are written like in using the alphabets or numbers, okay, or some special characters. Okay, so which makes it easier for the user to find or to memorize the variable names. Okay, so the computer location is divided into small blocks of memory space, and each block of memory space occupies certain bytes of memory. Okay, and it contains certain types of data. So variable stores different kind of values. It can store integer value, that is whole numbers, 0 1, okay, positive numbers, negative numbers. It can store float values, that is like decimal point values. Okay, it can also store character, that is a, or it can store multiple characters, that is string, that is like John, name of person John. Okay, So it can also change its values during program execution. Suppose you are storing in a variable called a sum the value 100. Now later on in the program, if you add the value 100 by 10, then sum will change from 100 to 110, right? So in a variable, you can change the value also during the program execution, thereby uh, suggest that, okay, it is a temporary storage location. Okay, a variable can store only one data at a time. It can store only one value. Sum can store only one value, suppose like 100. Okay, so it cannot store two values, that is 100 and 200. No, it's not possible. It can store only one value. Okay, and then it is a temporary storage location. That means the value may keep on changing during the program execution. The variable can store one value and then that value can be changed also. However, when the program runs and then when you shut the program, okay, you close the program, that variable memory space gets vacated. Okay, so that's why variable stores the data temporarily only. Okay, and keep in mind that variable name is user defined. Okay, so suppose like user defined in the sense like if the variable name is sum, you can change the variable name sum to summation or addition or add. Okay, or add one or sum one, like that. So example, in room number 101, if suppose only computer students are there, class 11 computer science students are there. Okay, now if a new teacher comes uh, and tries to find the computer science student. Okay, now if nobody guides him, he will go through every room trying to find out where the computer science students are, right? But if suppose uh, somebody tells him that, okay, room number 101 is where you'll find the class 11 computer science student. So here the students are the data, okay, inside the room, and the 101, the room number, can be the variable name. So every time uh, he has to search for the class 11 computer science student, he remembers the room number, that is 101. Okay, so same way, okay, users or programmers also find it easier to remember where the data is stored by the variable name. Okay, so here is a diagram that will show you how the variable stores data in memory address location. Okay, keep in mind that this is not an actual representation of how the data are stored. Okay, this is just a pictorial representation, a very crude format, okay, that I have created. Okay, so that just to make you understand. Okay, so on the left hand side of the table you have a decimal value. That is, if you remember the number system, we have already come across number system, right? So the decimal value, that is 99. So in binary format, 99 will be 01100011, that is 8 bits or 1 byte. Okay, so 99 is an integer value. Okay, so it comes under the category data type. Okay, so here long integer occupies 4 bytes of memory. That means 99 will occupy 4 bytes in terms of the memory address location when it is stored in the memory address. Okay, so when it is converted into binary. Okay, so if suppose the decimal value was supposed like 99.99. Okay, so here you have a decimal point value. Okay, so in that case the data type would be float. Okay, so the data types helps to identify, okay, what kind of value the variable will store. Okay, so next we have is the variable name. So variable name is user defined. So if suppose you don't like the variable name marks, you can change that to mark, or suppose like marks underscore one or marks one. So that is meant by the term user defined. Okay, so it becomes much easier for the users to know where 99 is stored by the variable name. Okay, on the right hand side, okay, so this is the memory address. Okay, so the value that gets converted to binary, 99 gets converted to binary. Okay, and it is stored in memory blocks. Okay, so you have 4 memory blocks here. Okay, 01 is one memory block, 10 is another memory block, 0 0 is another memory block, and 1 1 is another memory block. Okay, so every memory block occupies 1 byte. Okay, so it takes up 1 byte for each memory block. So altogether you have 4 bytes. Okay, so on the left hand side I've written there 4 bytes. Okay, so here on the right hand side, that is the 4 bytes. So the 99 is converted into binary and it is stored in the memory blocks. Okay, each block occupies one byte of memory. Okay, so the memory address location, so where that block is located or where that digit is located. So 10000001. Okay, so all the 4 bytes of that number is stored in 4 different memory address location. Okay, so now it becomes very difficult or impossible for the user to remember all the data values that are stored in memory address location. Okay, so that's why it becomes more easier for the user to find where the data is stored using the variable name. Okay, so I hope that you have understood what are character sets. Okay, what are keywords, what are tokens, and what are variables. Okay, in the next class I'll discuss about the declaration of variables, the rules for naming of variables. Okay, assigning values to a variables, and the data types and different data types that we use in C++ program. Okay, so that will be all for today.